going back to Atlanta, you came to Atlanta as somewhat tapped to the face of a local network relative to your competition. I want to know, what was your mindset coming to Atlanta?
I think that's a good question, because Atlanta is a city, and I've shared this before, I've always wanted to get here. I came here to visit a lot, and I said, boy, I love this place.
Right.
I would love to work here. I felt like I could do some things here. And I knew about the pecking order. You had your SB, that was that familiarity, that was that go-to spot for a lot of people for a long time. And, you had your Fox 5, who was the steady, running the race, doing it the right way. Here's our brand, and we're going to stay true to it, right? You had the, 11 Alive, who had their personality-driven thing. And I got that this station had traditionally been an as-run. Well, I have to be honest with you, I'm a very competitive person. You know what you know. You're not crazy. Like, it doesn't happen overnight. There's too many different variables. But I thought, if we could just stay the course, right? Find a lane, stay the course, and our game is actually not a game. It's about being authentic. There's places where I go, and people always say the same thing to me. Boy, you keep it real. It's like you're talking right to me, Sharon. And I think that's nice and that's great, but again, I kind of don't want to peel back the curtain and tell them the truth.
Right.
I'm really not doing anything, but I'm just telling you the truth.
Right.
I'm not trying to edit it or put it in this flowery bubble. We do want to warn you.
Right.
It's this thing called life that we're all trying to figure out, and I love that. So when I came to Atlanta, I knew that this was uphill battle. That didn't scare me, it excited me. Maybe that's crazy, but it did excite me.
Here at CBS 46, how did you deal with the weight of expectations, that were put upon you?
I think I've been through a number of things in my career that weren't necessarily fun, right? Or even true sometimes, but it is what it is when you're in the public eye. I have to say, though, those things I'm grateful for, because they shaped who I am. They shaped how I navigate tough situations, whether it's just on the air. We lost the beautiful, talented Measure of Grace Amanda Davis.
Right.
That's uncharted territory. What do we do? I'm sitting on the news desk. I knew, my colleagues didn't know. I had that information that I was grateful for from management, that this is not going to work out. But even when they told me, I kept hope, maybe I didn't hear it right. Maybe it can work out. And then, I got a text from a friend who said, I heard that, Amanda Davis just died. And I had to say to the producer, listen, take me out of the next couple of stories. I got to go make a phone call, because the boss was at the hospital. And I said, listen, Steve, these are our colleagues, right? This is our family. And if my friend knew this, then so does everybody else is going to know in 10 seconds. And how unfair to have our colleagues. And to his credit, we're trying to figure it out. He's with the family who is devastated. And I had to say, we have to go. Right. We have to say something. The people at home, we have to say something. And I remember grabbing Keith Whitney. I said, I got to talk to you. And pulling him aside and saying, listen, this is what's going on. And he said he had heard some rumblings, but kind of just set it aside when the incident first happened at the airport. I said, here's what I think. There's only one story today, and there's going to be a lot of heavy hearts in a second here, So I think that those kinds of things, if you want to have your name on the marquee, if you think you're up to it, right? Because it's a team at the end of the day, and it's about the stories, not you.
Right.
But somebody has to be that vessel. And if you are going to be that, you got to take the good with the bad. You got to have broad shoulders, as we said. I think it's the greatest job in the world, even with trolls and drawbacks and
Right.
all kind of nonsense that happens in just
Absolutely.
life, and maybe it's magnified when, like we said, there's that measure of blue collar fame, if there is such a thing. I try to keep things in perspective. I got a beautiful daughter. I got a great family. I'm not perfect. Perspective, I think, is so key. It really is. I tell my colleagues who will call me up and complain, I'll listen. And then I usually say, find the nearest window, look out. There's a big world out there. Like, really, listen to what you're saying. I know what happened was jive. It was wrong. It was ignorant. It was uncalled for. But there's a big world out there.
Right.
Okay? Let's just get after it.
She said jive. That's so funny.
I did. That's like a throwback word, right?
Right. I haven't heard that
I don't
in a
even.
long
I don't know.
time.
I'm tired. Maybe that's why.
So you've been at CBS 46 for 4 years.
Yeah.
Did you discover anything new about yourself? If so, what?
I think I discovered a long time ago that, you know what, Sharon, the best way to be is just authentic. Just be yourself.
Absolutely.
I think in this business, there's a lot of put on. There's a lot. Find your voice and go with that. You may fail, but can you imagine if you fail pretending to be somebody else? You don't get a do-over for that, right? And so I think here, and I think this community for me was like a big hug and allowed me that vulnerability to just speak what I felt was truthful and transparent. That if anything, Atlanta allowed me to be even more vulnerable. Doing so many hours of TV a day, having different partners come through, through it. It just is the way it worked out. I think it just allowed me to just be more transparent, be more myself, focus on the stories, and fight for every story.
So what were your impressions before you came to Atlanta? What are they now?
Impressions before I came to Atlanta, I thought it was beautiful. I thought it was sexy. I thought it was New York with more green.
Absolutely.
I knew there was money and opportunity and growth here. All the things that give you that heartbeat of a city that's so beautiful. We're not in LA, we're not in New York, but my God, this might be where it's at right now.
Right.
It kind of feels that way.
Absolutely.
And now that I've lived here, I talk sometimes to people who are lifers, because there's so many people who treat this as their mecca, and maybe a few will say, I'm used, it's not all that. But for the most part, I think Atlanta has lived up to the billing. I really do love this city. I wouldn't just throw that away, that support.